exercise, we registered a total of 778,447 new voters, exceeding our original target of 623,000. Of the 778,447 persons who registered during the 2024 voters register, 63.68% use the guarantor system, 36.28% use the Ghana card, while 0.34% use their passports to prove their citizenship and age. Distinguished members of Parliament, the total number of females registered in 2024 sum up to 408,332, constituting 52.45% of those who registered in 2024, whilst male voters amount to 370,115, constituting 47.55% of the total registered in 2024. I'm pleased to note that following our engagement with the Ghana Federation for the Disabled, we witnessed an encouraging participation from persons with disability in the just ended registration exercise. A total of 1,341 persons with disabilities registered to vote, with the highest number coming from the Central Region. Additionally, the number of 18 to 21-year-olds whom we classify as the Commission as first-time voters added up to 646,884, constituting 83.10% of the 2024 register. As I mentioned, we classify the 18 to 21-year-olds as first-time voters. The number of transfers add up to 334,073, and the number of proxy voters add up to 2,364,000. Sorry, the number of proxy voters add up to 2,364 voters. Distinguished members of the House, I'm pleased to note that the total number of valid voters on our register to date adds up to 18,681,366. That said, it is important to note that all these figures mentioned are provisional, and they may change, although it may be very insignificant, after the mop-up exercise and after the exhibition exercise later on in August. Mr. Speaker, the provisional voters register as we speak is ready, and we have written to the parties and asked them to submit their hard drives to enable us copy the provisional voters register for their use and information. Distinguished members of the House, in our bid to provide timely information of the registration details to the citizenry, we missed a number of important steps in our data generation process. This resulted in some mistakes being made on some of the slides that we put out. We have since assessed our methods and introduced more rigorous processes, which we believe will guarantee accurate data going forward. All in all, Mr. Speaker, in terms of the arrangements put in place, the conduct of our field staff, the availability of materials, and the functioning of our equipment, among others, the 2024 voters registration exercise was highly successful. It was inclusive and highly participatory. To date, we have not heard or received any complaints relating to the disenfranchisement of citizens. Honorable members, we intend to undertake a mop-up voters registration exercise in the first 3 days of August that is from the 1st to the 3rd of August 2024, to allow persons who turn 18 after the May 29th voters registration exercise to register to vote. The mop-up exercise will be held in all our district offices across the country, including the newly created One District. Additionally, we will extend the mop-up exercise to all prison centers across the country. We are working closely with the Ghana Prison Service, and we have obtained good details from them on the number of inmates in all the prison centers across the country. Honorable members, as you may be aware, we conducted the application for the transfer of votes exercise, as well as the replacement of lost ID cards in all our prison centers from the 3rd to the 5th of July 2024. This exercise, that is the transfer of application for the transfer of votes, was also extended to our security agencies. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, we experienced some pockets of violence during the 2024 voters registration exercise. Thankfully, no lives were lost. The conflicts and violence stemmed mainly from the abuse of the guarantor system, which led party agents to challenge voters who were bussed to the centers by their opponents. As a commission, we will continue to advocate for the use of the Ghana card as the sole means to verify a person's age and citizenship. We believe that the sole reliance of the Ghana card to authenticate a person's age and citizenship will be the surest way of ensuring a credible register and reducing the tensions and conflict that often characterize our registration exercise. Honorable members, as you may be aware, we have also concluded the proxy voting and the transfer of votes exercise. This took place from the 30th of May to the 14th of June 2024. As mentioned, the application for the transfer of votes was extended for an additional 3 days, that is from the 3rd to the 5th of July, and it covered the prison centers across the country. Indeed, both exercises were very successful. We have also concluded the compilation of the special voters list. This was held from the 17th of June to the 1st of July 2024, but was extended for an additional 2 days from the 6th to the 7th of July 2024. As we speak, Mr. Speaker, we have a total number of 131,005 persons made up of security agencies and media personnel on the special voters list. As was the case in 2020, we engaged with the heads of the security agencies, including the Ghana Police Service, the Ghana Prison Service, Immigration, Customs, the Ghana Armed Service, the Ghana Armed Forces, as well as the Ghana Journalists Association and the Private Broadcasters Association, and briefed them on the modalities for the application for the special voting to ensure that they had a good understanding of how the process works. This was to prevent the confusion that had characterized special voting prior to the 2020 election. We are confident that, as in 2020, the special voting slated for the 2nd of December 2024 will be incident-free and seamless. I'm happy to note, Mr. Speaker, that next week we will be uploading the special voters list on our website. We've also written to our security agencies and the media to provide us with pen drives to put the register on there to enable their members review this list and bring to our attention any errors or issues we may have with the register. Honorable members, in view of the mop-up registration exercise scheduled to take place in the first 3 days of August, We have rescheduled the voters' exhibition exercise from the 15th to the 21st, from the 15th to the 24th of July to the 20th to the 27th of August. The exercise will be held in there are over 40,000 polling stations across the country. In addition to exhibiting the register in all our polling stations, we will also exhibit the register electronically to allow citizens to check their registration details on their telephones for a small fee. This electronic register will be in place on the 20th of August until the election day. As we speak, honorable members, we have completed the recruitment of all our temporary officials. In all, we recruited close to 210,000 temporary officials, and they include our returning officers and their deputies, presiding officers, verification officers, name reference officers, among others. We intend to offer them in-depth training to ensure that they operate and carry out their mandates as expected of them. For the first time in our history, we've created a database to capture the details of all our temporary officials. We can now identify each temporary staff by their names, their photographs, their voters' card, their Ghana cards, and their residential addresses. All these details have been factored on our database. Hitherto, our temporary staff were simply names on paper, but we believe that with the production of this database, with the preparation of this database, it will further enhance transparency and promote and foster the needed accountability required from our temporary staff. Distinguished members of Parliament, we recognize that the performance of our officers in the field is key to the successful outcome of the elections. In this regard, we have beefed up our training department and made a number of key appointments to that department. As you may have heard, Dr. Sribo Kweku, who leads most of our public engagements, is now the head of our training department. We are confident that with his experience and competencies, we'll witness a transformation of our training department, and this will no doubt have a ripple effect on all our staff, both permanent and temporary. We are also updating our training manuals to ensure that they are easy to read and understand, and we believe that this will go a long way to beefing up our training and improving the competencies and performance of our temporary staff on election day. For the first time, we are also developing short educational videos on key aspects of our work to complement our in-person training. This will be disseminated to all our staff. In the area of security and safety of our voters and our property, we continue to collaborate with the National Election Security Task Force under the leadership of the Inspector General of Police to ensure the security of all citizens at all our centers nationwide. It is important to note that whilst we engage under the platform of the Election Security Task Force at all levels, national, regional, and district, the Electoral Commission is not responsible for security. Very often we've heard that the Electoral Commission is responsible for security, and we would like to emphasize that this is a mandate of the security agencies. We do not believe that they will cede any aspect of that to us. What we do is to collaborate with them and to provide them with details of all our centers, provide them with details of our printing arrangements to enable them, work with us and protect the ballots, especially when we are transporting these ballots to the regions. We also use their armories to keep our ballots and sensitive materials. Beyond this, honorable members, the police have full responsibility for security before, during, and after the elections, and they take all their security decisions without recourse to the Electoral Commission. Honorable members, as you may be aware, our IPAC meetings are ongoing, and following our invitation to the National Democratic Congress last year, the NDC has returned to IPAC and are engaging and contributing constructively to the dialogue process. We have managed to broker consensus amongst all the parties on many of the issues we have discussed at IPAC. Where there have not been agreement, both ourselves and the parties have agreed to disagree. We trust that the cooperation we have witnessed will continue to characterize our IPAC meetings in the months ahead. As a commission, ladies and gentlemen, we are desirous of upholding the principles of transparency and openness, and we continue to use the platform of the Let the Citizen Know to brief the citizens on key aspects of our work and answer their concerns. As you may be aware, during our just ended registration, for instance, we briefed the citizenry regularly on data coming in from the registration. We provided statistics on key indicators, including the number of male-female voters, number of persons with disability who had voted across the country, amongst others. This opened up our processes and enabled interested citizens to collate the number of registrants on any given day. As stated earlier, we have introduced more rigorous methods into our data generation processes, and we would like to assure you that the previous mistakes will be a thing of the past, God being our helper. I'd like to reiterate that to ensure the sanctity of our processes and the stability of our nation, we'll continue as a commission to address misinformation and disinformation about our work through our timely press releases and press briefings. I think it's been obvious that hate speech, misinformation, and disinformation against the EC has become the order of the day. And we are of the view that providing timely responses to counter this trend will go a long way to engender trust and confidence in our processes and reduce suspicions and tensions. Distinguished honorable members, I end by reiterating that as a commission, we are committed to providing a level playing field for all candidates and political parties, and to undertaking our mandate without fear or favor. From the registration to the declaration, our processes are embedded with one key ingredient, and that is transparency, transparency, transparency. As such, we will continue to operate in the spirit of transparency, fairness, and integrity as embedded in our motto, and work to deliver credible, fair, peaceful, and transparent electoral processes in elections come the 7th of December 2024. I'd like to thank all of you for your attention, and we look forward to answering your questions and concerns as we partner to ensure that in the end, our beloved country wins. May God bless our homeland, Ghana, and make her great and strong. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Chairperson. Honorable members, I think the Chairperson of the Electoral Commission has presented her program towards 2024 elections so loudly, and I believe, honorable members, please, we are going to give you the floor if there are any areas that you want the Commissioner to give further details. But please, I will implore you. Oh, afterwards, we'll give. Honorable members, I think at the moment, what we'll do is after the discussion, we will take the document and at least do copies for members. But for now, let's discuss what he has given us. Come again? Yes, afterwards we take the document, then so, Honorable Minority Leader, I hope you wait till your members. Okay, let's hear you.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair, thank you very much for today's meeting. And let me also, on behalf of the caucus, thank the chairperson of the Electoral Commission for her assurance that she intends to conduct a credible election, a peaceful election, a free and fair election, and most important, a transparent election. Mr. Chairman, the mood of this country deserves nothing less than what she said. And if we are not careful, and where the country is at this moment, and if this election is not conducted in a credible manner, we may end up losing the 1992 Constitution. The future of this country is in her hands. The future of Ghana is in her hands and the hands of the Commission. Any trigger will erase all of us. And so, Mr. Speaker, since this election is an election with high stakes, there are certain issues that we believe it must be addressed and must be addressed properly. Number one, Mr. Speaker, during the conduct of the 2020 elections, a matter of serious nature came to our attention. That, Mr. Speaker, one of the printing presses that were taxed to print ballot papers for the presidential and parliamentary elections were found out that they were printing excess ballot after all the political parties had signed out. In particular, the name of the company is InnoLink. They were found out that they were printing excess ballots. Mr. Speaker, at the time when the matter became a major issue, they found out, and then later on we were told that they found those ballots and some of them were burnt. But the question is, or destroyed. The question is, before it was destroyed, who can prove that some of these ballots did not find its way into the other police stations? I want to find out the measures we are putting in place to ensure that what happened 2020 at the printing presses, where excess or illegal ballots were printed, will not reoccur. I want to find out. We want to know from you also. Where there are rumors everywhere that during the 2020 elections, there were ballot stuffing in some polling stations. What you are doing to address the issue of ballot stuffing in some polling stations. Because it's a well-known thing. We are all practitioners of elections. We've been involved in elections for years. What are we doing differently to preserve the credibility of the 2024 elections? Mr. Chairman, secondly, we are also hearing rumors that, but it's important we get the assurance from the commissioner that these things are not going to happen. That we are hearing that there will be printing of duplicate pink sheets. Pink sheets. We are hearing, let me put it this way, we are hearing that there will be pink sheets available where others can have the opportunity to fill it out and it can be used as a pink sheet different from what has been signed. But we want to also know that what security measures are you putting in place? What security measures are you putting in place for us to be aware or for us to see that pink sheets are dedicated to polling stations and that no other person can have access to set pink sheets that are other than what has been assigned, and all unused pink sheets are accounted for. All unused pink sheets are accounted for, so that pink sheets will not fall in the hands of people that are not supposed to have those pink sheets, unused pink sheets. These are critical issues. And finally, there's an issue of the missing DVDs, biometric devices, and its accessories. We also want to hear from you what you have done since the matter became an issue of concern and how you are addressing it so that we can use that to preserve the future of this country. As I said, the future of Ghana is in your hand, and you have no choice than to deliver in a manner that there will be one Ghana for all of us. Thank you.
Honourable members, as I said earlier, those questions that have been posed by the minority leader, I don't expect anybody to go to that area again, so that we can move on. No. Please, let's. He has raised certain pertinent issues. I hope the electoral commissioner and her team are ready to respond to them. But I don't expect anybody to go to those areas again. So let him listen to member for Kwadaso. Honorable Adrian Bawa. Honorable Yusuf, if you are not careful, you never get the opportunity to speak. So, honorable member for Kwadaso, let's hear you.
Mr. Speaker, thanks for this opportunity. Honorable Bawa is my very good friend. So I'm surprised that he's trying to prevent me from asking my question. My question is just, simple. I want the EC to assure us or measures they put in place to ensure that on the day of voting, we are going to have sufficient ballot papers on the day. And again, since we all know that elections are largely won at the respective polling stations, I'm not engaging in any speculations. What measures are going to be put in place to ensure that there is serenity, there is calm, there is orderliness at the polling station? Because that is where determination of who wins, is located. Thank you.
Very well. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
No, let him give the opportunity to Katie South, the lady.
Thank you very much, Chairman. During the presentation, the EC mentioned something about the Ghana card being the one identification.
May you speak to the mic, please?
So during the presentation, the EC said that people will be encouraged to use the Ghana card mostly. I want to assure her that that's a challenge for me in my constituency. I'm the MP for Katu South. As we speak, I'm trying to get farmers to give me their Ghana card numbers so I can do a workshop with them. They don't have it. And that should not be a reason why they cannot vouch for their own children that this is my child. You have indicated also that for want of a better word, because the word you use has slipped my mind, there was some trouble at some polling stations because people were challenging others. You created that little monster. You have to deal with it. The little monster you have created is to give people too much power to challenge someone they don't even know. I don't think that you've done enough education on who is qualified to challenge and how it should be done. So it's been abused, which is what leads to the confusion at the various polling stations. I had a lot of that in my constituency. Finally, Chairman, in 2020, Rachel Ahiaba was able to vote in 2020. I'm sure you saw the video of the challenge that happened in my constituency. Have you put in measures to avoid that kind of scenarios going forward? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let him come to...
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, what is that?
Honorable Dafiamapo. Honorable Dafiamapo. You want the opportunity to speak? Okay, good.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to find out from the EC the average number per polling station in these elections. Whether they will create new polling station, looking at the numbers that he has given to us during the registrations. Thank you.
Well, I'll take last one and give the opportunity to Madam Chairperson to respond to those earlier concerns. Then we come back and take a... So let him give the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
So the
Speaker.
senior man, was central.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I noticed the last words she used. She said transparency, she repeated it 3 times. And I want to emphasize that the nation is at a crossroad in this election. We are hearing that what happened in the last election when they kept repeating the numbers they have voted for will happen again. The information we got was that there was a counter system being used and was confusing their own system. Is she sure that what they are doing now will be the best system that they will use? So we don't have other people putting figures into their figures as we know. And the feeling also we have is that there's a person from this side of the house who repeated twice that I'm telling you, NDC won the last elections, but I know what we did. He kept saying that, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, I want her to assure us that such a thing will not be repeated, because there's a high suspicion that when people are fallen, they grasp onto anything. But we want transparent elections in this country. The nation, Ghana, rests on our democracy. If it fails, I don't want it to fall on her because she's a wonderful lady. I've known her for some time. So please, give us that assurance. Thank you. You want me to tell the person? I will tell you.
Honorable member, do you want to speak? Okay, resume your seat. Honorable members, I think Madam Chair has heard a lot. I want her to respond to those area concerns. Then afterwards, I'll come back to you. So, Madam.
Thank you very much. I think I'd like to start by assuring you, and that the Commission is poised to deliver free, fair, transparent elections that reflect the will of the people. Yes, I would like to start by assuring you that the Commission is poised and ready to deliver free, fair, credible, transparent elections that reflect the will of the people. I can assure you that the Commission will not, and this is a message we are sending to the least person in the field, that our duty is to ensure that the elections are fair, the elections are credible, the elections are transparent, and open for all to see, that at the end of the day, the winner is declared. And I'd like to find out if you are aware of any loopholes in this system, because we know how the system works. We know that the system starts from the ground, and it starts at the polling station. The ballots are opened up for everybody to see. We have our party agents who are present. At the end of the day, the counting is done in the full glare of the public. This is recorded, and it is recorded on, the pink sheets. Party agents have, the opportunity in law to request a recount if twice, one at the polling station and one at the constituency collation center. And if they have issues, these things are resolved before the forms are filled and they append their signature to it. Where the party feels that the agent is not feels that he or she will not append his signature for certain reasons, they state so. But I'd like to assure you that whatever comes from the ground, and it goes from the polling stations, where all the agents of the parties are, to the constituency collation centers, where the agents of the parties are, and the tabulation is done in their presence, and then from there it goes to the regional collation centers, where the agents of the parties are. Then it comes to the national. And it doesn't come, it's not transmitted, it's hard copies of documents that are coming. So it's pink sheets that are scanned, that are sent by fax and email that come through. And we believe that by that time, the party should have copies of all these on their telephones to enable you verify. So when you come to the national and a pink sheet is coming in from the region, your agent at the National Collation Center should be able to look at it and say, this is what we signed on to. So I'd like to assure you there is absolutely no way that at the helm of affairs, the Commission can change anything. Because the documentation comes from the ground, and we believe that you have copies. So I can assure you that there's absolutely, and this is a message that we are sending and we continue to send to our officers on the ground. But thankfully, you have your agents there. So with the right training, they should be able to scrutinize some of these things and ensure that there's integrity at every level of our processes. So we'd like to call on you to do a thorough education of your agents to ensure that they scrutinize and they ensure integrity all across the chain. But we assure you that at the top, there's absolutely nothing we can do to declare what comes to us. So there's nothing more we would declare than what would come to us. So my honorable friend, Honorable Rashid Pelku, I've known you for more than 25 years. I can assure you. He seems to be trying to deny me today. I said, Honorable Rashid Pelpo seems to be trying to deny my statement that I've known him for more than 25 years. From his looks. But I can assure you, please take, and I think that you've worked with us during the registration when issues came up. You raised them with us, and we solved them. It's a system, yes, it's a human institution. So not everything will be 100%. We strive for excellence. But be assured that if any of our staff misbehaves, we will not take it lightly. We will sanction the person and we will do what we have to do within the remit of the law. Be assured. I said. So, please, and as I mentioned, ours is a manual system and has always been. I know in 2016 we tried to implement a transmission system, but in 2020 and in 2024, it's 100% manual. We are not going to do any electronic results transmission. Everything is going to be as is. You move from the polling station, you go to the constituency collation center, you collate it there. And to the best of your ability, you go to the regional centers. Before you go, you can transmit it by email, but it's a scanned copy which has been signed. And then you go, you follow it up to the regional. At the regional, however, they send it to us by fax or email. And again, it is not just results coming in, trickling through a system. It is the scanned pink sheet that will come in, that the parties have signed on to. So it's not figures that are going to trickle in. Let us assure you, we are not doing any transmission of results that will trickle in. If there's going to be any technology use, it will be fax and email, and it will be of the scanned pink sheets that are signed on by the parties. The pink sheets, as you know, there's no intention to print duplicates. Duplicate pink sheets. The pink sheets themselves are carbonized sheets, and they usually, if you print up to the number of persons on the ballot, and so if you have, and of course they are customized to every constituency. So you print up to the number of persons on the ballot, and what you write on the top goes all the way to the last page. So there's nothing like using some of the pink sheets and not using some. What you write at the top goes all the way to the last page. And we do not print it in excess. You only print to the number of persons on the ballot and 1 or 2 for the commission at the constituency level and at the national level. So it is not in excess where we would have duplicates. No, they themselves, they are carbonized sheets. So you cannot print right at the top of one and then what appears at the bottom is different. What appears on the first page will appear on the last page. So again, I'd like to assure you that there will be no duplicate pink sheets printed. Again, we share our timetables with you. You monitor and police the printing houses. And I would like to propose that police it all the way to the end of the election. But you do know that we have security features on the pink sheets, on our ballots. There are serial numbers on it. So it is very difficult to insert anything. And that's why it's coming as a surprise to us that 2020, this is the first time we are hearing it, the ballots that were stopped. You said there were some. This is a surprise to us. Yes, because you must provide the evidence of providing those, those ballots. Yeah. Because every ballot box should be opened before voting. And we believe that at every polling station, your agents are there. And in addition to that as well, every ballot has the serial numbers, and all those numbers are given to the party. It's not known to the EC alone. So if a ballot in a particular region is 001 to 0050, all those details are provided to the party. So if you look into the box and you see a ballot 0070, you know it is not supposed to be in. And again, you have every right to raise those issues and bring it to the attention of the commission at that level, and the matter will be dealt with. But there are security features that makes it very difficult for infiltration. And at the end of the polling as well, at the end of the day, you do know that there's a counting done, the ballot statistics. You look at the number of people who have voted, whether it was they were verified using the BBDs or whether they were verified manually. All those things are collated. You cross-check the number of ballots that have been given out. If you notice that there's an anomaly, for instance, if your check reveals that 200 people have come and they've been provided with ballot papers, but when you counted the votes, it was 300. Subject for it's an issue. So the ballot statistics are done, looking at numbers who came in, the numbers which were verified manually, numbers which were verified electronically, the number of ballot sheets that were given. If there were any spot sheets, they are also recorded, and all that is tallied to enable us come to that conclusion. So again, if there are some anomalies, you should be able to raise it. And so I think I may have answered Honorable Rashid Helpo's issue. I'll come to the next one on the issue is whether we'll create new polling stations. We will not create new polling stations ahead of the 2024. However, there will be splits. And the threshold that we are using is 750. So no 750. So no new polling stations will be created. But because we've increased the register, we've added on to the register, we will have split stations in the same polling station, A and B or C, but they will all be in the same polling station. And Honorable, in Ketu, I'd like to assure you that the Ghana card, we don't intend to use it for this election. And of course, we need the collaboration of Parliament when we are all convinced that all Ghanaians who desire the card have it and they have access to it. So this is something, it's more looking into the future, that to help us do away with some of the conflict and the violence that are characterized with this guarantor system and so on. Going into the future is something that we would engage with Parliament, and we hope that by that time, the NIA would have, the access to the cards will be at the doorstep of everybody. So it is not, we are not looking at it currently. The issue of the guarantors, again, it is not the EC. The law provides for citizens, including the political parties, to challenge persons who are felt to be illegitimate or illegal persons appearing at the center. And it's true that sometimes, and rarely coming from the party agents, they can challenge unnecessarily. We hope that, with education and more education, this unnecessary challenge will be a thing of the past. Thankfully, we have what we call the district registration review committees, and where people are challenged illegally, the committees sit and they make a determination on those cases. But, so these are things that we will try to work on with more education as to the challenge and so on. We'll work on it going forward. With the issue of Richard Ahiado, sorry, it's an issue of concern. It's an issue of major concern. That he was not on the register, but he was able to vote in 2024. It's something that we are looking into, and we can assure you that in due course we would come up with our findings and let you know. But it's a message that we will take out, and we continue to take out, that this sort of thing should not be countenanced at any of the polling stations. But we are looking into it, and I can assure you that before the election, we will give you a little update on how that happened and how we can forestall that going forward. I think we also have our Honorable Minority Leader. I think we talked about the fact that this is the first time we had heard about the START. And I emphasized how if that happens, it surely would be an outlier. You should be able to pick out those things, the illegal ballot papers that have been put in. But this is the first time that we have heard it. And if we can have more details, we would go into it. As I mentioned, we will not be, the pink sheets I think have explained that as well. And then with the BBDs, yes, I think we've mentioned over time that what we lost were 5 laptops. And that was realized doing our routine maintenance. However, we've taken steps to beef up our security in those places to ensure that, such thefts will not happen again. But I think we've assured you many times that it has no bearing. The missing laptops have no bearing on the registration or the election. Indeed, even if you assume that a BVR or a BVD was stolen, let's assume, because humans go there, they can be mischievous to carry the whole thing. They have to be activated. There are certain security, processes that a BVD or a BVR has to go through to be connected to our system. And so, on its own, it cannot be used to register anybody. We've also said that we provide you with the details of all the centers for registration. So before registration, 21 days before registration, the gazetted centers are made known to the parties. As such, any strange results coming from anyone, you should pick it up. Because I know that your agents were there and they were collating results. So if there's a strange results coming from a strange polling station where some, kit has been taken, you should pick it up. But the kits on their own, unless it is a calculated attempt from within, but even then, if in so, you should be able to pick up any results that are coming in that do not conform to the gazetted centers that we have. So this is the system that we run. It is transparent, it is transparent, it is transparent, making it difficult for any individual to try to take advantage of it. So thank you.
Thank you very much. What? Anyway, let me give the deputy majority leader. Can you speak to the mic?
I'm taking this opportunity to commend the Commission highly for how far they've taken us through the exercise and preparation for the 2024 elections. From the briefing we've received so far, I think a number of steps have been taken to ensure that we have a peaceful, fair election. One of the things that I would like to remind members here is that he who comes to equity must come with a clean heart. And one of the things that we should avoid is to speculate on issues that don't have evidence. We have only one Ghana. We don't have anywhere else to go. And that's the reason why we have brought you here to apprise us of what is happening. And it is important that we pay attention to every details that you've given us to ensure that there's peace in Ghana. And I'm happy that you've taken us through this process. And are equally happy that members are also aware that they cannot thrive on speculation to burn our country. One question now that I would like to know, I remember you mentioned that the fees that you're going to introduce will be the same like 2020. But I didn't hear you mention about the women's PC's fees. Normally we pay 50%. It was not well there. And then for the exercise of those who are going to attain 18 by 1st August 10 to 10th August, to 3rd August, are we going to have a cut-off point where we can decide? Because we don't want the polling stations to argue about who is eligible and who is not eligible. So I believe that there should be a cut-off date to give clear directives as to who can register. Thank you very much.
Let me give it to the Reverend.
Thank you very much.
Honorable Yusuf. Honorable Yusuf. If you want to talk, you should listen to me. So, Honorable Bauer, do you want to talk? Then resume your seat.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chair. I would like to know from the chairperson of the Letter Commission, I'm interested in how collation and transmission of results is going to be done. From the polling station, constituency polling centers, regional polling centers, and to national. I just want to know the process, how you're going to do it.
Very well. Oh, I'll come to you. Let me give it to Kofi Adam. I'm coming. Don't worry.
Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity. And let me thank the Electoral Commission for the assurances. But Mr. Speaker, the assurances are accepted based on previous activities and previous promises and how they were delivered, and sometimes previous comments. And we on this side have had opportunity as a party to have won 4 national elections out of 8. The other side have had 6. If you have officers of the Electoral Commission and deputy chair for that matter make a comment.
Honorable Kofi,
Yes.
No, don't go there. Please. It's a different.
No, Mr. Speaker, allow me to land.
No.
These are. You don't even know what I'm going to say.
Kofi.
Yes.
Honorable members, we are having a very good discussion. I don't want us to, jeer towards it. I know where he's driving at, and I don't. Kofi, redirect you.
Mr. Speaker, you are now in my mind. No problem. We were assured during the last registration that generators have been procured for registration centers. We went into the registration exercise, and some of us as MPs have to rent generators for all these centers. This was an assurance which was never fulfilled by the Electoral Commission. Today they are giving us other assurances. How are we sure that they live up to the assurances they are giving us here, when they did not live up to the assurance of procuring generators for all their registration centers? That is my first question. Second, Mr. Speaker, if you ask them, the assurance they give us is that, oh, you have agents there. But mostly, per the arrangement they put in place at the polling centers, agents are sometimes forced to sit at a distance. They are unable to observe the process as they should. Are they prepared, as we advance now, to allow agents? They won't take full part in the issuance, but to sit at a good position that will enable them observe the processes, especially the issuing of what? Ballots. It's very critical, the issuing of ballots. Agents must sit at a position to be able to see that clearly. And sometimes the security, because the training is done at different times, and the security don't get trained. They come and use their force and say, hey, we are here to instill some discipline. Agents, sit far away or we take you out. Are they working to train the security also such that they will understand the electoral process? Mr. Speaker, the last one. She gave us global figures that they got for 2024 registration. And I know they got that data out of the local figures. 800 other registration centers, 268 district offices. That gives us about 1,068 registration centers. The kits may be more. I am requesting for district by district data of the recent registration that was done. That's one. Two, we also want, for purposes of transparency, kit by kit, because it's just 1,068, kit by kit data. That gave them the 778,447 voters who registered, to help us do some assurances. It's important and yet to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Honourable members, henceforth we are going to restrict ourselves to one question. No, I mean, look at the number of so let's restrict ourselves to one question. So let me shift to this side.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Oh, sit down. Let me ask my question. Sit down. Mr. Chairman, in reference to the last question that was asked by my colleague, can the EC chairman tell this House that all the processes from the beginning till now, has all the political parties been part of the process? And are they in the know of whatever they are doing? And if so, the documents that they are requesting, all that, have we supplied all those documents to all the political parties? Thank you.
Well. Leader, I'll come to you. Hold on. I'll come to you. What? Let me come to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Sure, this is my one. Mr. Speaker. Oh, sit down. Why do you always disturb me? Sit down. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Before I ask my question, I just want to give some suggestions to the Electoral Commissioner. I realize that you talked about how the voter accounting is done from the the police station level up to the national level. The first thing is that, as per the law,
one of the pink sheets, the duplicate, is supposed to be posted at the police station. Can you insist that your, what do you call it, the presiding officer will post the result, one of the duplicates at the police station, so that anybody who is there can just take a snapshot and know that this is the case? That's the first point. Yeah. 2, is it also possible? No, there's a problem. It's in the law. It's in the law. Is it also, now what I'm going to say, that one does not necessarily, is not captured in the law. But is it possible, because of the fact that my leader talked about the issue of pink sheets and printing more than the number that you have, can you consider the possibility of the signed statement of poll, that's the pink sheet, that it is put in the ballot box and sealed until it gets to the coalition center? I don't know whether you are getting the point I'm trying to make. You know, the statement of poll is always signed, and they hold it and take it there. And usually it is that transmission between the polling station to that's where the problem is. Can you consider after it has been signed, it is put in the ballot box and sealed? So that is the other one. And then, just because we were talking about, I just want to draw your attention. In the last elections, that's assembly elections, one of the challenges that most of the places, for example, if you take the northern part of Ghana, had was the issue of the manual verification forms. You know that because of the type of work our people do, sometimes they go there and they cannot really be captured by the way they go, they put their hands on the CVR and it doesn't work. And therefore, they will have to opt for manual verification. And sometimes you are there and then there are no manual verification forms. It happened within the assembly elections. Can you assure us that you will have enough manual verification forms that are put there? That's one. The other, these are just feedbacks for it. Yeah. The other, so I will try. I will try. Madam Electoral Commissioner, one of the challenges again why parties are unable to police these processes starts from the ballot distribution night, the night where the materials are made. Because as an agent of a party, when I come, first I will be able to capture all the serial numbers of the ballot box, the ballot papers. The only serial number I cannot get may be the stamp, which will be done at the polling station. But all other things, whether it is the BVR, what do you call it, the BVD, the serial numbers for the two ones, the various ranges and the serial numbers for the, I can get that and give it to my agent. So that my agent can cross-check that when it comes to the center, are you able to assure us that the materials will get there and the distribution will be done on time, such that our agents at the various police stations will know these serial numbers and cross-check before they come? And now my last one. They are just quick questions. Mr. Chairman, Electoral Commission Chairman, you know that on the 9th of, I need her attention, that's why on the 9th of December 2020, when you declared the results, you announced just global figures. You didn't give constituency by constituency the figures. As we speak now, unless it has been done, if it has been done, let me know. But you have not also gazetted the 2020 constituency by constituency the results. If you have, Mr. Chairman, we want to have a copy of that. We want to know if you've actually gazetted it, make that available to us. On this note, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you well. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would like to find out from the EC whether or not in their discussions there will be military deployment as part of the election security.
Very well. Thank you. Let me now come to Gafia Mako.
Mr. Speaker, thank you.
If you are not careful, I will go this way.
Okay.
Mr. Speaker, you know the record will bear me out that I have been insisting for the past 1 month, every Friday, that this should happen. Let the record reflect that. So I must be given like 1 hour. Mr. Speaker, thank you. And Madam Commissioner and your commissioners, we are grateful that you are here and to address our concerns. Yes, I'll go straight to the point. Now, let me find out if you have a director of IT, substantive director of IT, a staff. I am asking this because of the discrepancies in terms of figures released.
Qualified IT.
Yes, if I say substantive director of IT as a staff, I mean that. Because of the difficulties we had in that department of the commission releasing figures. For instance, if you look at the figures initially released for day 2 when the limited registration, they released 2 separate figures. And my party, for the NDC, had to point out that the figure released was not correct. Before it was, for instance, on day 2, instead of 19,267, 25,287 was released. So we had to correct that. And day 3, he released 43,417 instead of 48,616. This we corrected. So if you do not have a substantive IT director, I want to recommend that you do, so that, you see, it is the figures that give you credibility, the accurate release of the figures. Once the figures are tampered with, everybody is set on edge. Then of course, Madam came later to explain that it was due to some choral draw. It was choral draw, if you recall that phrase. And we all laughed about it. But these are very serious, because all that we do, all the troubles that we go through, it is the accurate release of the figures that epitomizes the essence of the work that you do. Then 3, we are informed, which your own statements confirm, that some components of some BVR machines are missing. It's a major concern for us as stakeholders. We want to find out, 1, whether you have voters' data on those missing components. And if you do, what steps were put in place to secure, by way of backup, to secure those data from falling into third hands. Then, when did the commission discover the missing BVRs, and what internal steps were taken to address them? If the matter was reported to the police, what actions have been taken, and if the police have taken action, extract and all that.
Thank you very much.
No, Mr. Speaker. Please.
No.
Please. Mr. Speaker, with all due respect, please.
Ask her question.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I plead with you. I plead with you to let me finish, please. Mr. Speaker, the other matter that I want to raise is whether or not the EC had a meeting, an emergency meeting, to discuss the circumstances under which these machines got missing, and that very EC has arguably...
Honorable Jafiama, I'm not cutting it short. The lost machines have been asked by the minority leader.
Well, then I did not hear it. If the minority leader has addressed that issue, then I'll drop it. Mr. Speaker, let me finally ask this. Pursuant to CI 126, we are entitled to, or the EC is mandated to undertake registration at polling stations, existing polling stations, gazetted polling stations. Ask every member seated here. It costs us a lot of money to transport people to the district offices that they limited the registration to, as well as had to reach areas. And the phrase had to reach areas, for instance, created problems for me in South 9. Because if you come to South 9, you designated Chinu as a hard to reach area and designated Anyensu as hard to reach area in Peking. And the Peking main town were left out. So persons will have to travel from, say, Budome.
So, Honorable, what is the question?
No. The question is that in proceeding with undertaking EC activities, it is always safer to deal with the law, because the law says that existing polling stations plus the EC office. Now, if you decide not to act in accordance with that and you use designated hard to reach areas, you create problems for we, the MPs, stakeholders. You put us at an economic burden. We have to transport people across. Mr. Speaker, ask her. We have to transport people across the water lake. Paul, I have been asking every Friday that they come, we address this matter. So allow me to speak. So we are saying that what is the assurance that on December 7th, we will not be put to this extra economic burden of transporting people over long distances to exercise their franchise. I thank you for the opportunity.
Well. Now, Crosby.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. My question actually has to do with delayed ballot boxes to certain polling stations within my constituency. Specifically, Mr. Chairman, with regards to the Duja Island, sometimes ballot boxes get there as late as 3 p.m. and yet these polling stations are supposed to end their voting by 5. And so they have only 2 hours within which to cast their vote. And it is, next to impossible to get the actual work executed. So I really want to know what plans the Electoral Commission have to address this long, it's been a very long-term problem or challenge within such districts. I want to use the opportunity to also commend the Electoral Commission. Indeed, during the 2023 limited registration exercise, I petitioned the Electoral Commission with regards to hard-to-reach communities, referencing the Dija Island and the Dwarf Island. I know that there was some attempt to address this kind of issues. However, it was not comprehensive enough. So in as much as I'm commending you for the attempt, I also want you to come out with a comprehensive program that will address some of these challenges. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. So she was straightforward, and that's how I want it to be, right? Okay, let me turn. Honorable Yusuf, if I don't call this man, you okay?
Mr. Speaker, I'm grateful. I was going to change my sitting place. Mr. Speaker, Chairman, my first issue has to do with the use of BVDs during voter exhibition. Very soon, you'll be exhibiting the voter registers. Can I humbly suggest that you use the BVDs during the exhibition so that we test run the system and we are sure that the failures we've been experiencing during voting days will be reduced. That's an appeal I want to make. Very, very important. Because you are promising us free, fair, and transparent elections. And it's only when the processes are also seen to be free, fair, and transparent that we can be guaranteed of the ultimate results. My second concern also relates to the issue of free, fair, and transparent election. It's very refreshing to hear this from you, and I'm very, very happy. We just hope that you walk your talk. But there are issues, humbly, utterances of some of your directors.
Say, boss man. Honorable.
No, I think we should say it and get it rectified. For instance, if you say that NDC is a threat to our democracy, how are you going to get our support?
Honorable.
These are some of the issues. So I'm saying that I'm appealing to him. Mr. Chairman,
will you listen to me?
With all humility, I'm appealing to Dr. Bosman that some of his utterances will not guarantee us the free, fair, and transparent election they are promising us. Because if you tell us that our party is a threat to democracy,
it's okay.
That's a serious matter.
Well noted.
Mr. Chairman, last one. The last one is an appeal to the EC boss herself. I'm a bit worried for her. I'm worried because I've seen her many times with military protecting her. If she should do the right thing, she will walk freely without even a police officer. So we expect that she will do the right thing and she will not go around with military everywhere. Today, over 20 military officers are cooperating here. That shouldn't be the case. Even the president doesn't go around with over 20 military officers. We want her to be able to move freely in this country. And the only way you can do that is when you are fair, you are free in terms of ensuring that the processes are right, and you declare the winner, and we'll all be happy with you. And I can assure you, you will declare your mama.
Oh, interesting. Honorable members, can we end? So, nobody is going to ask 2 questions. Nobody is going to ask 2 questions. Nobody. Nobody is going to ask 2 questions. 1 question. So let me start with Prote Kole Prote. Yes, Honorable Senator.
Thank you, Chairman. I think your current ruling is a bit unfair to the rest of us who've been patient.
Come again?
Your current ruling that only 1 question is allowed per person. Other people ask 3 questions. You didn't put a limit, so Mr. Speaker.
Yes, that's my ruling. We've come to a point that
anyway,
I have to
Mr. Speaker, my question is: do the BVDs communicate in real time with one another? So during the use of the BVDs, do they communicate in real time with one another?
Well. Nice question. Yes, my brother, take the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Hey, come in. Hey. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I am speaking on this floor as a member of the Center of the Nation, a member of Parliament from the center of this country.
Member of what?
Kintampo North.
I can't hear you.
I say I am a member of Parliament for Kintampo North.
Well.
Very good. And I am speaking in this Parliament as somebody talking from the center of the nation.
Well.
And if things do not hold, we all suffice. I'm thanking my dear sister and my senior brothers for coming to this place. You see, oh, don't worry, yeah, she's older than me. Oh, my brother, can you...
What is that?
So, in fact, this is the only nation that we all have. We have not gotten more than one nation. In a football match that everybody is interested in, the referee and the linesmen are always pleaded with to be fair, as they are assuring us. If we are fair, like my colleague said, Some of us don't use policemen. Some of us don't use military men. Why? Because I feel that I'm doing my rightful thing. If you meet me and you kill me, you have done nothing. And so, in my constituency, when I'm campaigning, and I even get to my MPP brothers, we dance together because this is this. So by this, what I want to mean is that let's work for Ghana and not for NDC or MPP. Thank you, Mr.
Very well. Thank you very much. Yes, Honorable.
Very simple. I would like to know from the Commission, what time is the election? The time, because I have heard something that, yes, the time to begin the election and the time to end. Time. The 7th December. I mean, yes. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Hussein.
Thank you very much. Right Honorable Speaker, I know as a conscientious, patriotic, nationalistic leader, you are concerned with ensuring that elections in this country are conducted transparently and the true verdict of the people declared on the basis of the results that are produced. So, Mr. Speaker, I know you are of such mind and will allow us to express sentiments and questions that border on attempts that may be made or seem to be made to tamper with that verdict. So, Mr. Speaker, I hold here a publication from City News.
Honorable member.
Mr. Speaker,
Honorable member, no.
Mr. Speaker, allow me to make the point.
It's not admissible. Please. If you have a question, just ask a question. If you have,
Mr. Speaker, that's what I'm about to say.
No.
About utterances.
Honorable, will you listen to me?
Mr. Speaker, if you label a whole political party as a threat to democracy,
okay.
Are you anchoring yourself to be seen as an impartial empire?
Well. Honorable.
Mr. Speaker, and that is the conduct that has been associated with when they said, Madam, one of your deputies in the name of Dr. Bosman. It is important that, Mr. Speaker, we bring it to the fore.
It's okay.
So that all of us can address it, so that you avoid such utterances and anchor yourself as an impartial arbiter.
Honorable Hussein, very well. Thank you.
No, I'm not asking my question. I'm here to ask my question.
Yes, Honorable Member.
Mr. Speaker, I've not asked the question yet.
Ask the question.
Yes, so let me ask my question, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the first one, in the run-up to the 2020 elections, the Electoral Commission on the 10th of December first declared the result and subsequently went to amend that result. Under what power did the Electoral Commission assume the power to announce and amend results? Two, Mr. Speaker, never in the annals of our country's history have we seen the creation of a regional coalition body. The general perception out there is that the creation of a regional coalition center is an attempt at parting the votes and rigging the election. The Electoral Commissioner is here. Does he think that the continuous maintenance of the regional coalition body is appropriate to ensure and assure every Ghanaian the elections will be conducted freely and fairly?
Well noted. Okay, enough. Please, one question, straightforward.
It should be taken out.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I would like to thank the EC Chair for attending upon this House. And we plead that Ghanaians are crying for transparent elections. And it is our prayer that you grant us that. My question is, how many proxy applicants went through the biometric system and how many did not? How many proxy applicants went through the biometrics and how many did not?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes, Honorable Dr. Teria, I'm coming. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. and we close the chapter. Yes, Honorable Dr. Kevia.
I'm often, it's not okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The chairperson has related to us her special interest in ensuring that we have fair elections through the processes they have established. My point is simple. Uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. Uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. We were in civil society with you, IEA. We want fair elections. You said all of this. You set the stage. Today, you are with the government. Today, you are with the public sector. My word is, my life depends on the decisions that you make to ensure that the processes from the national level to my village are all consistent with the rules and regulations. All the questions that are being asked, the people, the security, the officers who are in between, uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. It's on your head. December 7th, we want fair elections in this country. If we don't have fair elections, it's on your head. This is not a threat by any means, but the point is you are responsible and it's on your head. You, generations after you, everything, your name will be mentioned as an Osajifo.
Honorable Dr. Kevia, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, my brother.
Thank you, Chair. First, recently, the EC has reduced the number of officers at the police stations from 5 to 3. From 5 to 3. For example, they used to have 2 ballot issuers, 1 name reference officer, a verification officer, and a presiding officer. And the ballot issuers were 2. They have reduced that from 5 to 3. I want to know what they seek to achieve with that. But in my view, Mr. Chair, they have achieved nothing but to delay the election processes at the various polling stations, because it takes time and people vote even into the night. So I want to find out whether they are going into 2024 elections, whether they are going to increase the number from 3 to 5 as it used to be. That is 1. 2. Would the chairperson, it is very important, Mr. Chair. Would the chairperson agree with me?
You are leaders. You should help me to manage the house. Why?
Would the chairperson agree with me that since she took over as the chairperson to EC, public relations, public education has gone down completely? They do not do public education. They used to have vans with speakers on them that goes around the remote areas to educate people on how to vote. Today, spoiled ballot is competing with correct ballots. If you go to most of the remote areas, there are a lot of spoiled ballots because people are not educated. Here, may I also say that what accounts to the delayance of paying of allowance to their staff? Chair, this sometimes in 6 months after elections, their officers are not paid. And as a result, we have very qualified people, experienced people, who are now reluctant to do the work of EC. And they sit down because you have gotten a budget going into election, you finish the election and you're not able to pay your officers.
Thank you very much.
Why?
Yes. Let's make time to Adenta.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Madam, I hope you got his question. Yes, Adenta.
Thank you. I want to find out.
Adenta, you have the floor.
Yes. I want to find out from the chairperson, per the timetable that was published earlier in the year, this upcoming mop-up exercise from the 1st to the 3rd wasn't initially captured in the timetable, but it's now happening. I want to find out from the chairperson that, is there the possibility that we're going to see a voter transfer before the elections again? Is it going to happen? Thank you.
Very well. Yes. Tema East.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the basis of the promise of a free, fair, and transparent elections, I want to find out from the EC chair what steps they are taking to ensure that known political activists that are appointed to the EC offices at the national, which has become a national concern that can compromise the acceptance or the good relations that we should see from an independent body like the EC is concerning. And I want to find out what the EC is doing about that. But more importantly, at the district offices, how will the EC chair assure us here that when complaints are filed against persons at the district offices who have been promoted or appointed to undermine the process to be taken care of? If I have to repeat my question, how will the EC rid itself of known political activists who are put into EC offices to do the bidding of others when complaints are brought to her doorsteps? Thank you.
Very well. Yes, that will now come to New Advias.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, for people to not have their names on the register and still be able to vote is a wonder of the world. And when the chairperson was asked about the Richard Ahiagba incident, about how his name was not on the register in 2020, but was still able to vote, the chairperson said they've commissioned an investigation into it, and in due course. Mr. Speaker, I want to find out how much is in due course, and how long does she have that, how much time does she need? It's been 3 months already. How much time do you need, Madam Chairperson, to be able to investigate this and let the public know how people who were not on the register were able to vote to select members of parliament for their constituents and eventually vote for the presidential candidates? Thank you.
Thank you. Let me lastly come to time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in 2020, during the registration for the 2020 elections, the district offices of the commission were asked to hire canopies, generators, and chairs. Some offices claim they have not been paid fully. Some others claim they have been paid 25%. I want to find out from the EC chairperson, have you paid for these costs that your district officers incurred?
Thank you very well. Now let me come to leadership. Yes, Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Please, let's restrict ourselves to one question, please. I'm tight.
Mr. Speaker, me, the chairperson knows I deserve special dispensation. Mr. Speaker, honestly speaking, this meeting is in twofold. And if the first aspect is not well done, that is why you have the banter that Honorable Abednego nearly went. So I would suggest that EC, you meet the Independent Constitutional Body Committee, which used to be the Special Budget Committee, on the conditions of service, the budget performance, and related issues. Because those matters should not be raised here. But when we have you in a Special Budget Committee, we can have a platform to iron out some of these issues. The Second question, I'm from Bono region. And Bono region, we have a special challenge which must be put to you. In 2020, the new Patriotic Party Regional Director of Election in the Bono region, whom we came face to face with, was Dr. Apiahime. By default, he's found his way to be in the Electoral Commission. The Council of State says once he has gotten there, there is nothing they can do. Unfortunately for the good people of Bono region, in your recent exercise, you assigned Dr. Apiahime to Bono region. When that happens, it makes the Electoral Commission lack integrity. My plea is, in order not to make people become antagonistic with the Electoral Commission, we have 16 regions in Ghana. If he cannot be taken away, the moment the NDC people see him, they can't forget he representing the MPP in 2020 elections. This is the role that he played. From captain to referee. Beyond being a party communicator, he was the official regional director of election. The CV is here. If you care, I can produce it to you. So if you say that this same person, within 3 years, he should come to represent the electoral management body, you may say that the NDC doesn't like him, they don't like you. It's not like that. So please do something about that. The other question, Mr. Chairman, is you said I had a call from a police officer that they started going to training about the 2024 elections. Is that true? And if yes, what he told me was that this time police officers or security officers will not be allowed to follow. Once you go to polling station and the election is over, you supervise the election and they finish voting, they do counting and declare at the polling station, you've done your job, then you go. If that is the case, that they will not be allowed to police the ballot box and the pink sheet to the collation center, there can be exchange of ballot boxes along the way. There can be vigilante attacks along the way. So if that is true, you take notice of that. Mr. Speaker, these are the two things I want to ask for now. And I want to beg with you so that you arrange with her so that we meet her at the independent constitutional body, because we want her to know your budget performance. And if funds are not being released to you, we have only 4 months to election. We make sure that those funds are released for the effective delivery of your responsibility. That was the essence of this meeting. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Yes, Honorable Abuja.
Mr. Chairman, I thank you for the opportunity. And I want to thank the Electoral Commission Chair and her team for coming to meet us. It's appropriate, and we appreciate that. My first question is what Honorable Ahmed started. What is the EC's budget to carry out a credible election this year? How much of that money have they received so far, and how much is outstanding? And are they expecting any challenges that will make the election problematic as far as their side is concerned? Chairman, we all hear, we see the Electoral Commission travel with heavy security presence around her. In fact, in many cases, I see more security around her than the Speaker of Parliament and the Vice President. Is there any reason why somebody who is supposed to be just be a referee to conduct an election feels so threatened that she needed to be protected by military people, not even police? If she can share with us.
The last Honorable Abuja, that question is not admissible.
It's not admissible.
I will not ask her to respond to that question. Okay.
No, say that you don't even have police.
Mr. Speaker, I actually stand for election. Some people don't like me, but I don't even go around with one police. She is not even somebody who got to her position by fighting. So I'm wondering why she needs military. It's being overruled. My question is overruled. Thank you very much. Okay, the last question is this, Mr. Speaker. During the 2020 election, for the first time, at least as I can see, 8 of our compatriots, Ghanaians, died at polling station, not fighting, not at war front. May I ask her if any of her staff have provided statement to the police or any state agency investigating the death of 8 people during the 2024 election?
Very well. Very well. Thank you. Lastly,
thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. As for first, I will provide some information to the EC to conclude and to say that our new standing order now makes the EC and other independent constitutional bodies no longer strangers to this House. And so you are now expected to take advantage of that, to be coming here regularly to issue statements that will be in the interest of the people of Ghana, and to be ready to answer questions of the representatives of the people. I am urging you to make sure that you appear in person, because that's what we expect of you. And I'm sure, and I also want to say that your presentation today was really a breath of fresh air. When I listened to you, and I compared that to the period, a long list of periods, and it's important, where the EC's position on Ghana card, the EC's position on indelible ink, the EC's position on so many of the district registration centers. It was like the EC was on one side and the people of Ghana on one side. Now, what lessons have you learned? And I'm sure that you'll be able to provide that reflection. That at all times when we are issuing these points, it's not because we don't like the EC, but we are interested in your work, because it goes to the stability of this country. The very important last point that I want to ask you is about recruitment. You know that everything you've talked about transparency and everything has to do with the personnel that you are recruiting. The district level, and you are recruiting temporary staff, presidential ballot issuers, presidential presiding officers, and technicians. Can you please let us know the processes in selecting them at each district, and will be guided to know that everybody has some biases, but we need to interview people to know that they are able to put their biases and focus on the work independently. And so we'd like to know how you are recruiting these people, and to assure us that these people will be paid on time as well. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. I think, Honorable Ahmed, your request that the EC meet your committee to look into their budget. I would have wished that this meeting takes place before the finance minister appeared before the House, so that based on their challenges in terms of their budget, you'll be able to iron out with the finance minister. So look at it as to where you can meet the electoral commissioner and see how best you can fit into the discussion with the finance ministry. Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, honestly, that is exactly why I'm up. Obviously, the electoral commissioner will need all the support that this House will have to provide to her to be able to deliver on her mandate in delivering free, fair, and transparent election. One of the key and very critical one has to do with financing. I would suggest that Monday, before the media review is delivered or presented to us on Tuesday, we meet with her and we can have a meeting together. But we need that meeting before we meet the Ministry of Finance ahead of the media review, so that we can ensure that adequate resources are provided for you to deliver free, fair, and credible elections for the people of Ghana. I'm sure when we do that, you will be able to be equipped enough to do your work. And so that if anything goes wrong, we can hold you accountable. Because obviously, we can't afford to allow the democracy to slip. We will do whatever it takes to protect you and protect democracy. So, Mr. Chairman, I urge you to ask the chairman. The chairman is the majority leader. I'm the ranking member of that committee. He may not be around, but the deputy, somebody is the vice chairman. The meeting must be called Monday morning first thing, so that we can deal with that. Aside some of the questions we have here that we can't resolve them. Some of the concerns I have, I don't want to address them in open. I want to have a meeting where I know we can discuss.
So that's very, very, very important. So Monday we are meeting the Common Fund. But at least let's do this one before the Common Fund. So on that note, Madam Chair and your team, on behalf of the members. Oh. You see, I'm in hurry too. Yeah, Madam.
Thank you very much. And I think a lot of questions have been raised about our security. And I believe it's not because we are afraid for our security, because I believe that we have conducted ourselves as expected of us in the Constitution. And although I see a lot of hostility coming from my colleague from civil society, and I saw he was pointing fingers at me and almost wanting to give me a blow, I believe that it is these sorts of things that, and the rhetoric in the public that makes maybe the security agencies feel that they should provide us with this level of security. To be honest with you, it takes away your freedom. You cannot go to the salon, everybody's in your space. You go to the market, it's not pleasant at all. But I believe it's the rhetoric that we hear on the media landscape, because we've come here as friends. And I know Honorable Amabua said to us that we are friends of Parliament. We should feel free to come in. So we expect, and thank you, Honorable Minority Leader, but when you're pointing fingers at you, it's as though if you meet me in the supermarket, you poke your hand in my eye because of the finger that you're pointing. And if for any reason we get out of line, you have every right to call us to order. But we shouldn't operate on rumors simply because we were appointed by a particular party. If we have displayed that acting in favor of a policy, you have every right. But I do not believe that we have conducted ourselves as such. And if we have, please feel free to call us to order. You have every right to. But we have not conducted ourselves as such. And before Honorable speaks, I think we accepted, and I do speak, we accepted this job knowing that posterity will judge us. And the Almighty God who called us will judge us. So there's no way we are going to tilt the results when it is not the truth. So we'd like to assure him that, we have integrity and credibility. And we know that what we do would follow us all the way to the grave. And we want the Almighty God to honor us. We live by the principles of well done, good and faithful servant. So there's nothing we will do, and I assure you, to bend the rules or to steal the election for any political party. If we have given you reason, or if we ever do, please call us to order. But let us discuss these things in a decorous manner, as friends. Unless, of course, we've proven ourselves to be unfair. And I don't believe that, anybody has mentioned that this morning. So my friend from civil society, you can be sure that we will abide by the law. We will be open and transparent. We would be open and transparent to ensure that it's only the will of the people that is announced at the end of the day. I think that you talked about the listening, the fact that we've changed.
Honorable Oti Bress, please.
I think Honorable Amabua talked about the fact that we've changed our minds about the indelible ink, and we've changed our minds about on the use of the Ghana card. I think that most of the time when we come up with proposals is based on experience and the information on the ground. It is not somebody sitting somewhere saying that, oh, let's forget about the use of the indelible ink, or it's based on experience. So it's out of conviction. And we were of the view that, we're using a biometric verification system. When we were not using the biometric verification system, we relied on the Ghana card. Now you are using a biometric verification system. There's no need for indelible ink. We took it to IPAC, and there was, all the parties there were of the view that, yes, there's no need for indelible ink. However, let's waive that decision until 2028, when we have provided a lot of discussion, enough discussion to the citizenry. So we are a listening commission. We are a progressive commission. We are a listening commission. You take this to IPAC, they say, yes, we agree with you, but wait. Even on the issue of the election date, there was consensus that, yes, in the interest of having a proper transfer of power, should we go into a second round, it's good to bring the election date forward. However, one school of thought were of the view that let's do it immediately. The other was of the view that let's wait until 2028. The commission went back to the drawing board. We held discussions, and we felt that this is not a matter of, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Let's stagger it. Let's build some consensus around it. Let's dialogue on it. And then we implement it in 2028. So we are a listening commission. We are open, we are transparent, we receive feedback, and we act on it. So yes, you should have, there are certain positions that we take because of the situation on the ground. But if you come out and your constituents or your stakeholders feel that, oh, wait, it is a good idea, but wait, unless it goes to the heart of the election and it will affect the credibility of the election, if it's not broke, you don't fix it. So that's the position that we take. But I think that you should also give us that due that we are the managers of the election, of the commission. And there are things that we may be privy to that you may not be privy to immediately. And some of these decisions, we have, the right within the law to take them. But as we said, you listen. And if it doesn't go to the heart, it doesn't affect the credibility of the election, you can stagger it, as we have done for the indelible ink and the election day. With the recruitment, I'd like to assure you that the process is very transparent. I myself sat at the helm of recruitment, as did our directors and our deputy commissioner, chairman, and commission members. There's no interest. There's no list coming from anywhere. And if you are part of our process, you'll see. We have received over 20,000 applications through the newspapers. And we brought directors from the regions and the head office to sit and scrutinize. And there was a criteria. You must have had at least 8 years experience as a returning officer to qualify. And if it's presiding, you must have had 2 terms. You should have had 8 years as a presiding officer to qualify as a deputy. So these lists did not come from anywhere. And the information is there. If you have time, you can interrogate it. You can get into the database of the 20,000 people and try to identify these people who registered. You must have experience. So it's not a list, a new list coming from somewhere. These are names that were given to us by the district. You sent them to the district. after they had been shortlisted, and we asked them to go through it. Who has conducted themselves well? We did get reports. Some of them had issues. They came in and they had served as returning officers for years. But you see that the district officer brought a report saying that in the last election, this is what happened. They were not able to deliver the ballots on time. There were delays and so on and so forth. So those people were taken out. But these are all people. And if you do find any who have no experience with the commission, have not served as returning, have not served as deputy, have not served as presiding, for the number of times, because there's a criteria, please feel free to bring it. We are aware that at the end of the process, some of the people were challenged and some investigations were set up. Some of the challenges were upheld because the evidence that was provided was legitimate. Some of them were not upheld because there was no evidence provided. But this is a process. Through the newspapers, over 20,000 applications that we brought regional directors and together with head office directors, grueling process. And then we built a database for the first time. In the past, it's just a sheet of paper with names. Today, your name is there, your photograph is there, your Ghana card, your voter's card, your residential address, your telephone number, your bank account details. So it is very difficult for you to misconduct yourself. So these are very grueling and rigorous processes that we put in place. So I can assure you that the recruitment was done without fear or favor and without favoring one side and so on. These are all names that were received from, through the advertisement that was put out. I would also come to the issue of transfers. Yes, we will not have transfers again before the 2024 election. We talked about the party person at the EC, and I know that you've raised the issue of the commission member. As you may be aware, we are not the appointing authority. In fact, we do not have any role to play in the appointments of commission members. If it's a director, yes, we are the appointing authority. And we will make sure that anybody who is affiliated to any political party doesn't cross the line. But in the case of commission members, we are not the appointing authority. But be that as it may, I can assure you that even if your father were the president, you can't rig the elections for him. If he thinks so, then he's lying to himself. Because we know the process on the ground, unless the parties are not going to take their agents, and unless they are not going to train their agents. But if you train your agents and they are on the ground, and you have other media houses collating the same results, because the polling station, the pink sheets are posted on the polling station, and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 media houses are collating it. If your father is the president, you cannot rig the election for him. So in spite of the fact that, yes, I don't have the evidence, because I don't know, and I didn't know the commission member before his appointment. But in spite of the fact that, and if this is the case, there's absolutely nothing he can do. He hasn't got the power. He hasn't got the power. The list of arrows came from the database. So even if he was involved in selection, he has no power. And it's based on experience. And please, when you receive the list, and I believe you have, cross-check it. Cross-check it. And bring it to our attention the next time we're here that you were able to identify these people who have no experience whatsoever working with the commission. And we will take it up. And I can assure you, because that is the criteria that we have set. No, but you'll be using them for the election. Yes. Yes, I know. I think you are talking about the commissioner, Dr. Apiahiri. Yes.
He says this.
Okay,
since 2020, Dr. Apiahiri was the Bunu regional D-Day agenda director of election for Bono.
I think it's well known.
If you want to deploy him, you can, 2024, you can deploy him to a different region, but not in the Bunu region where he worked for the New Patriotic Party in 2020. That is what he said. It's a deployment.
I think your point is very, very fair. Your point is very, very fair, and we would ensure that in future we'll take him very far away from the Bodo East and the Ahafo regions. So please be assured. I know we have exhibition coming up, and it's something that we will look at and ensure that he's not in the region. And then we talked about the payment of staff, the field officers, and the fact that they have not been paid, and some of them wait as long as 6 months before they get paid. That is not true. Yes, sometimes you may have the late releases of your budget, and that could affect it. But when you have the resources, there's no reason why you won't pay. You may also be aware that since 2020, we have instituted the payment of allowances through bank accounts. That has resulted in some challenges. But we were of the view that, we've got to be prudent with the use of the public purse. Gone are the days where you carry money in sacks and you take it and you go and pay. On the way, anything could happen. Anything could happen. So what we are saying is that payment should be done through the bank account. And I must confess that when that policy was instituted, some of them who had worked with us didn't have accounts. So that may have accounted for, the noise that you may have heard or what you may have picked up, that some people have not been paid. But all our records show that those who have the bank accounts were paid and were paid promptly. Indeed, for the registration that happened, the just ended registration, within a month of the registration, those who had presented their bank accounts were paid. And we are really working to improve upon the systems. And so it is not accurate to say that people work for the EC and they are not paid. They are paid promptly, and for this particular election, the releases, with the intervention of the Special Budget Committee, the releases have been, they are being done on time and in accordance to the schedule. So we are able to also pay and process the payments and pay on time. So it is not accurate to say that the commission, under this commission, people are paid and, people work and they are not paid. It is not so. It is not so. Those who have not been paid are those who have issues with their bank accounts, and they are given the opportunity to correct it. Those who correct it receive their monies, because after all, the monies have been voted for them. And then with the generators in 2024, I'd like to state that our officers, we did not procure generators in 2024, but we provided resources for our officers to, hire generators, not only in the office, but also the mobile teams. Resources were provided to our officers to buy and fuel, to hire and fuel generators. So it is also not true to say that our officers did not have generators. They do not have generators. We provided them with the resources to hire generators and to fuel generators, both in the offices and in the field. I think the training by the security, we have no clue about it. We are not aware. And, everything is done in a transparent manner. So we don't ascribe to having agents and security there and you are hiding what you are doing from them. No, it shouldn't be so. And it's something that we don't support. It's a transparent manner. Of course, it doesn't mean that you should go and sit right there, but it should be done in a way that, there's law and order, but it's done in the full view of the security, the agents, and even the observers who go around. It should be done in the full view of them. And there has been no instruction from us. Indeed, this is the first time we are receiving this complaint. There has been no instruction from the commission. And I do not believe, because we've not received these complaints coming from the field. So I don't believe that it is a pattern. It may have occurred in one or so polling station, but it's not with our consent. And then also, I think the collation is very simple. And I know that my friend from civil society talked about the regional collation. The regional collation is to bring sanity into the process. You all agree that after you, from the polling station, you go to the constituency collation center where the results are collated. In the past, the results from the constituency collation center were brought to the national collation center. And so you can have one result coming in from Upper East and then one coming from Uti. It's very messy. It's different and it's very stressful. And you are there, one trickling in, one at a time. We thought that let's have a neater approach. And again, it is done in the full glare of the parties. So rather than send different constituency results to us, let's have a neat approach. So all constituencies in Oti region, you send yours to Oti. All constituencies in Upper West, you send it to Upper West, and so on and so forth. Then you have the regional collation sheet is one, and everything is on it, is holistic. And at that point as well, the party agents are there. So it's nothing that is being done in secret, but rather it is being done in a holistic manner, in a neater manner, to ensure that, there's, everything is neat and is properly done. So that's how it is going to be done in. That's how it's going to be done, where the results are consolidated per region and they are sent to the national. Because, really, you will bear with us that in the past, what we had was not good. And we only seek to strengthen. We only seek to strengthen the process and ensure integrity. So at the regional level as well, if you have issues, you can raise it. You can ask for recollation and everything before you append your signature. So by the time you are bringing it to national, you already know what the results are per region. You have a good idea. Your agents are aware. You also know that in the region, these are your votes. As opposed to the past, where you don't have an idea, you have one from here, one from here. It's a messy system. So, Madam MP, this is the approach that we are going to be deploying. We are not aware about the security arrangements of the National Election Security Task Force. As I mentioned, it is under the auspices of the IGP, but other members are the immigration, customs, fire service and so on, the armed forces. But we do not know who will be deployed for this election. Those arrangements are not made with us. And then, of course, the BBDs, we intend to, use some of them during the registration. I know during the exhibition, I know there was that suggestion, and we intend to deploy a few of them into the field to see how they are working. Elections will be from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. And I'd like to assure you that we'll have 5 officers at every polling station. 5 officers at every polling station. I know that Honorable Patricia Piaget asked about the filing fees for women. And we maintain that we will maintain the 10,000 for parliamentary. However, we will waive it by 25%. With the presidential, we will maintain the 100,000, but we will waive it by 25% for women and persons with disability. You got me thinking. So I know about Honorable Ezanota also asked the question about the BBDs, whether they are linked. But the BBDs are manual equipment and they stand alone. So you load the information of every polling station on an SD card and you put it in there. They stand alone. They are not linked to other BVDs, neither are they linked to, the database. It's all a very manual process that we run, and we are not changing any of that. No. Because your name cannot be in 2 polling stations at the same time. Your name and your details cannot be there at the same time. And then, of course, I think definitely. That one, as you know, is not in the law. Yeah, but do you have any reason to doubt that if they are in the sealed box?
No. The issue is that there has always been a problem of the pink sheets moving from the police station to the collation center. There has always been this issue of the fact that this is not what we signed. They signed a different one. They did this. And this confusion comes out. And that's why we're saying that in as much as there's no problem when, as part of carrying the election materials into the box to the police station, which includes the statement of poll, in the same way, is it possible that after you have finished and everybody has signed? No. I'm coming. No, at the center. No. Oh, they count it. Which center? Police station. No, I'm saying that. I am saying that at the police station, after you have finished voting at the police station, and you have signed, the pink sheet that is supposed to go to for the collation, they should add it and seal it.
How would they do collation? So Honorable Bauer. So if you put it in the box and seal it, and in the process, somebody also snatch the entire ballot box.
Can you imagine that? So it is possible to snatch. Is that not what you're saying? So you can snatching a box and snatching a pink sheet. Which one is more difficult?
No, sir.
So the point I'm just making, it is a consideration that we are asking them.
Anyway, because I am thinking there's a good reason for maintaining the status quo. Let's move on. So, Madam,
I think
the last one was about the kids. The laptops that went missing. And I did mention that we put in place some security features to ensure their safety. But the laptops did not contain any valuable information, because at the end of the registration, you do what you call the end of life. And what it is to take off the data from the kit. So we like to assure you that the data is safe. And then also, we had the question about, the riverine areas, sending the equipment and the election materials to the riverine areas. In 2020, we didn't have any delays in the riverine areas. We put in place a robust mechanism to ensure that the, materials were delivered to those areas on time. But should there be a delay, we know that the law says that if you are in the queue at 5 o'clock, you should be allowed to vote. So if you get there at 5 and we cannot stop voting from going on, it means that you can, you are in the queue at 5 and you have 300 people in the queue at 5, they all will be allowed to vote. Nobody would be, nobody will be denied. And so even if there's a delay in taking the materials there, which we do not believe there will, because of the robust mechanisms and arrangements that we are putting in place, once you are in the queue by 5 o'clock, you will be allowed to vote. And then also, I know that we were not able to satisfy I know you wrote to the commission, and I know the commission wrote back to you because you had a list of, difficult to access, unwieldy areas. But I know that we also met you more than halfway, and we are hoping that in the future we should be able to cover all of it. But I think that we've answered everything.
Yes, honorable members. Honorable members, let me use this opportunity on your behalf to thank Honorable Mota. You just came in, and honorable members, on behalf of the House, on behalf of the representative of the people, I would like to thank Madam Chairperson of the Electoral Commission and we are able team who Honorable members, I think we have done enough. We spent almost 3 hours on this session. The chairperson has given us a very detailed submission. He's given us a lot of time to ask questions. He has responded to almost every question that was posed before the committee. On that note, on behalf of the House, I will extend my profound gratitude to Madam Chairperson and your team for attending upon the House to respond to concerns of members. We are grateful to you. As the deputy leader, minority leader said, now we have independent institutions, created a committee for them. You will be invited, or members may file a question to bring you here to respond to those questions. We want you to be very familiar with the House and by extension to the people of Ghana. Once again, we are very grateful to you for attending upon the House to respond to members. We are grateful to you, and you are hereby discharged.